back now with the latest on the dramatic charges of sex abuse in America's military. I'm rejoined by Bhagwati of the Service Women's Action Network and Rebecca Havrilla and Myla Hader, plaintiffs in the federal lawsuit that alleges the abuse. Both women say they were raped. Here's what Secretary of Defense Gates had to say today on this issue.
We have expanded the sexual assault response coordinator and victim advocates tenfold, from 300 to 3,000, and we now have those advocates at every base and installation in the world, including in Iraq and Afghanistan. The court-martial percentages have increased from about 30% to 52%. So we are making headway. The fact is we aren't where we should be. It is a matter of grave concern, and we will keep working at it.
And we've just received a statement from the Pentagon which says sexual assault is a wider societal problem. Secretary Gates has been working with the service secretaries and chiefs to make sure the US military is doing all it can to prevent and respond to it. This is now a command priority, but we clearly still have more work to do in order to ensure all of our service members are safe from abuse. We also reached out for comment to former Secretary Rumsfeld, and we are awaiting his response. Anu, I mean, there's a recognition there that mistakes have been made. What I'm curious about is, why is it now a priority? I mean, I can't imagine many more serious things to happen in the life of the military than serious sexual abuse and rape against female members of the military, and yet they're only saying now that they are prioritizing this.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think those responses are completely unacceptable. I mean, these representatives of our government know exactly what's going on. This crisis has existed for years and years. What Secretary Gates was referring to, these SARCs and victims advocates, you can flood the system with all of these people who are allegedly supposed to help victims. But if victims don't feel safe to report, then what's the point of spending millions of dollars on a program which doesn't provide protection for survivors, which doesn't guarantee prosecution of perpetrators, which doesn't send sexual predators to jail, doesn't even require that a sexual offender registry be implemented, so that once these serial predators are finished, victimizing people in the military, they go on and victimize people in our neighborhoods back home.
Yeah, I mean, you are a former captain in the Marine Corps yourself. Are these women all exaggerating what went on? I mean, what was it like for you? Are there positives to being a female captain in the Marine Corps? Is it good most of the time with bad apples? What is the situation? Well,
of course, I mean, there are lots of positives. I mean, it's an honor to serve as a Marine Corps officer, as a Marine in general. But what we're talking about is systemic abuse of personnel. It's very difficult being a woman in the Marines, but I would argue it's a challenge being a woman in any branch of service.
Did you see any abuse when you were serving?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I saw egregious abuse. When I was an officer, and I'm endowed with a bit more authority to actually do the right thing and see that victims are protected and perpetrators are punished. But I couldn't do that because my senior officers wouldn't allow me to. I saw senior officers, these are lieutenant colonels and colonels, who literally are still in uniform and are now wearing the general officer rank, who transferred sexual predators out of the unit instead of prosecuting them, who allowed junior enlisted members, NCOs, to be sexually harassed by junior officers, who allowed those junior officers to be promoted in the middle of equal opportunity investigations. That's endemic to the military.
So you're saying this goes right to the top, that generals serving right now were aware of this kind of abuse and basically covered it up.
Very much so, and in most of these cases, I mean, I encourage your viewers to read the complaint that this lawsuit. It's online on our website. It's egregious what's happening to these women and men. Commanding officers are absolutely implicit, and oftentimes are involved in cover-ups of these cases because they don't want to be seen as having a problem in their unit. It's considered a leadership failure. Well, it is a leadership failure if, when something's reported to you, you don't act on it and you don't defend the women and men in your own unit.
Let me go back to Myla and Rebecca here and ask them for your reaction to what Secretary Gates was saying. I mean, as I say, what struck me when I heard him was this idea that somehow now this is a priority. What was your reaction to that? Let me ask you first. Let me ask Myla first.
It has been several years since I got out of the military, and I've been following the issue, and there have been a string of excuses throughout the last several years and into time before that as to why nothing is done about this. It's true, sexual assault and rape is a societal issue. A lot of women in our society are conditioned to worry about rape all the time. We have to spend you know, our lives worrying about rape, walking at night, etc. I realize it's a societal issue, but civilian women, when they are raped, have the option of quitting their job if their supervisor was the one who raped them, or moving someplace else if they feel unsafe. And there's just, regardless of whether, you know, it's a societal issue, there is really no excuse for anyone to be subjected to the level of maltreatment that that victims are subjected to when they report an offense. That just, there is no excuse for it. There is no excuse for that. And the programs that have been put in place are completely ineffectual. The victims' advocates are not advocates, they're handholders. They are people who can, you know, see victims through the system as the system re-victimizes them, and be there with them while this happens. The advocates are powerless to do anything for victims. So that, you know, putting more advocates in the picture doesn't really do anything at all.
Rebecca, let me go quickly to you for your reaction to what Secretary Gates was saying.
Right. My reaction to that is it's just a lot more lip service, and we've been getting lip service from these people for many years now on, we have a zero tolerance policy. Well, lip service doesn't change anything, and in my opinion, you know, these numbers mean nothing but, hey, we've made adjustments here and there, but they haven't made any changes. There's been no systematic change. And I have to echo Mila with saying that you know, most of the training we go through is ineffective. A lot of times it's even made fun of. And so there needs to be a big overhaul.
Well, there needs to be basically a completely new system, it seems to me, put in place. When we come back after the break, these military women are making it their mission to fight sexual abuse. Will this lawsuit open some eyes?